Have you ever wondered about the intriguing history of American countries? There's a world of knowledge waiting to be discovered, a tapestry woven with vibrant threads of diverse cultures, languages, and histories. From the icy glaciers of Canada to the sun-drenched beaches of Brazil, from the windswept plains of the United States to the ancient ruins of Peru, the American continents are a study in contrasts. These lands have borne witness to the rise and fall of great civilizations, to epic voyages of discovery, to wars and revolutions that have shaped the course of history. Each country has its own unique story to tell, its own place in the grand narrative of the Americas. Imagine, if you will, the ancient civilizations that once flourished in these lands. The Maya, the Aztec, the Inca, their accomplishments in art, architecture, astronomy, and agriculture continue to astound us to this day. Yet their decline remains shrouded in mystery, sparking endless questions and debates among scholars. Then came the Europeans, venturing across vast oceans in search of new lands. Christopher Columbus's voyages opened the door to an era of exploration, of cultural exchanges, and of course, profound consequences. The ripple effects of these encounters continue to shape the Americas in ways that are still being understood. As we journey through the annals of time, we'll delve into the era of colonial America, the founding of Jamestown, the Mayflower voyage, and the myriad questions surrounding these early settlements. We'll explore the American Revolution, the war that birthed a nation and ignited a global movement for independence. We'll also shine a light on the histories and cultures of indigenous peoples, whose experiences, traditions, and rights are an integral part of the American story. And we'll delve into the darker chapters of history, such as slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, and the long march towards abolition. Yes, the history of American countries is a kaleidoscope of triumphs and tragedies, of dreams and struggles, of questions that beg for answers. So buckle up and get ready for a historical journey that will spark your curiosity and expand your knowledge. Let's delve into the rich history of pre-Columbian civilizations. The Americas, before the arrival of Christopher Columbus, were home to thriving ancient cultures. Consider the Maya, once sprawling across modern-day Mexico and Central America. They were known for their advanced writing system, astronomical observations, and monumental architecture. Then we have the Aztecs of the Valley of Mexico, famous for their complex social, political, and religious institutions. And let's not forget the Inca, who from their base in modern-day Peru built an empire that extended along the Andean mountain range, boasting impressive feats of engineering like Machu Picchu. Questions persist about how these civilizations achieved such advancements and why they ultimately declined. Were their downfalls due to internal conflict, climate change, or contact with European explorers? The answers remain elusive, adding to the intrigue of these ancient societies. These ancient civilizations laid the foundation for the diverse history of American countries. What impact did European explorers have on American countries? In the late 15th century, the world as we knew it began to change dramatically. The voyages of Christopher Columbus, followed by other daring explorers, marked the beginning of a new era of interaction between the old world and the new. These explorers were driven by a thirst for knowledge, wealth, and power. They ventured across the vast, uncharted Atlantic, braving storms and uncertainties, and ultimately discovered a world they never knew existed. This era of exploration wasn't just about finding new lands. It was about cultural exchanges too. The explorers brought with them European customs, beliefs, and technologies, forever altering the cultures of the indigenous peoples they encountered. But these exchanges were not without consequences. The introduction of foreign diseases decimated native populations, and the quest for wealth led to exploitation and suffering. The era of exploration forever changed the course of history in American countries. Why were the early settlements in America so important? Let's delve into this. The founding of Jamestown in Virginia in 1607 marked the beginning of permanent English colonization in America. It was a turning point, a shift from transient exploration to a lasting presence. Then in 1620, the Mayflower sailed across the Atlantic. The pilgrims aboard were seeking religious freedom, a quest that led to the establishment of the Plymouth colony in Massachusetts. These early settlements, though fraught with challenges, were significant for a number of reasons. They marked the start of large-scale migration from Europe. laying the groundwork for the diverse population we see in America today. They also set the stage for the development of democratic institutions, with the Mayflower Compact serving as an early example of self-governance. In essence, these early settlements were the building blocks of modern American nations. They were the seeds from which a powerful new world sprouted. These early settlements were the building blocks of modern American nations. Who were the original inhabitants of American countries? Long before the arrival of Europeans, the Americas were home to a multitude of indigenous cultures, each with its own unique history, traditions, and worldview. From the Inuit in the Arctic to the Mapuche in the Southern Cone, indigenous peoples have shaped the continent's history and continue to influence its present. In North America, tribes like the Navajo, Apache, and Cherokee, among others, developed intricate societies with complex political systems and rich cultural traditions. In the Great Plains, tribes like the Sioux and Cheyenne followed the buffalo herds, living a nomadic lifestyle, while in the Pacific Northwest, tribes like the Haida and Tlingit built impressive totem poles and excelled in fishing and hunting. Central America was home to advanced civilizations like the Maya, who developed a complex writing system, excelled in mathematics and astronomy, and built magnificent cities like Tikal and Copan. In the Caribbean, the Taino and Carib peoples cultivated yucca and tobacco and navigated the seas in canoes. South America was the cradle of the Inca Empire, the largest empire in pre-Columbian America. The Incas built an extensive road system, terraced the mountains for agriculture, and constructed architectural marvels like Machu Picchu. The Amazon rainforest was, and still is, home to numerous tribes living in harmony with nature, preserving a way of life that stretches back millennia. But history hasn't been kind to these indigenous cultures. From the onset of European colonization, they faced disease, warfare, and displacement. Their populations dwindled, and their cultures were often suppressed. Yet, against all odds, they persevered. Today, indigenous peoples across the Americas continue to fight for their rights, preserve their traditions, and contribute to their country's cultural diversity. Understanding the histories and cultures of indigenous peoples is key to understanding the history of the Americas. They remind us that history is a rich tapestry of diverse experiences and perspectives, not a single narrative, and they challenge us to rethink our views on progress, civilization, and the relationship between humans and nature. Indigenous cultures greatly contribute to the rich tapestry of American history. How did slavery shape the history of American countries? This is a profound question that invites us to delve into a dark yet significant chapter of our shared past. The history of slavery in the Americas is as complex as it is tragic. It began in the early 16th century with the transatlantic slave trade, a horrific enterprise that brought millions of African men, women, and children to the New World in chains. For over 3 centuries, these enslaved individuals toiled in brutal conditions, their labor exploited to build the wealth of European colonial powers. But the story of slavery is not just one of oppression, it is also a story of resistance and resilience. Across the Americas, enslaved people resisted their bondage in a myriad of ways. Some rebelled, risking their lives for a chance at freedom. Others found subtler ways to resist, preserving their African traditions and creating rich new cultures that thrived in the face of adversity. The quest for freedom eventually led to abolition movements throughout the Americas. In the United States, this struggle culminated in the Civil War, a bloody conflict that tore the nation apart, but ultimately led to the end of slavery. The Underground Railroad, a secret network of safe houses and routes, played a crucial role in this process, helping thousands of enslaved individuals escape to freedom. Yet, the end of slavery did not mean the end of racial inequality. In the aftermath of abolition, former slaves and their descendants faced new forms of discrimination and exclusion, a legacy that continues to shape American societies today. The legacy of slavery continues to influence American societies today. By understanding this past, we can gain a deeper insight into the present and work towards a future where the ideals of freedom and equality are not just lofty aspirations, but lived realities for all. What role did the concept of manifest destiny play in American history? This question takes us back to the 19th century, when the phrase manifest destiny was first coined. It was a conviction, a belief deeply ingrained in the national psyche, that the United States was destined, by God, some argued, to spread its democracy and capitalism across the entire North American continent, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. But this westward expansion was not without controversy. The idea of manifest destiny raised questions about the acquisition of territories, often through war or treaties that were heavily biased in favor of the United States. Even more contentious was the issue of native displacement. As settlers moved west, indigenous tribes were systematically uprooted from their ancestral lands, leading to a tragic trail of forced migrations and broken treaties. In essence, the concept of manifest destiny spurred the growth and expansion of American countries. What was the impact of the Cuban Revolution on American countries? The Cuban Revolution, a dramatic chapter in the history of the Americas, is known for its profound impact that reached beyond the shores of this Caribbean island. With Fidel Castro's rise to power in 1959, a new political order emerged that challenged the traditional power dynamics in the region. The revolution was not just about overthrowing a dictatorship, but also about pursuing a socialist model of governance, a move that put Cuba squarely within the geopolitical chess of the Cold War. The US-Cuba relations, once cordial, turned frosty, leading to an economic embargo that lasts to this day. This seismic shift in Cuban politics had a ripple effect on other Latin American countries, influencing many to question their own political structures and relationships with the US. The revolution also sparked debates about socialism, its merits and demerits, shaping the political discourse in the region for decades to come. The Cuban Revolution was a pivotal moment in the history of American countries. Do you love a good historical mystery? Let's dive into some intriguing historical puzzles related to specific American countries or regions. These curiosities add a unique twist to our understanding of the past and inspire us to keep exploring history. For instance, let's look at the enigma of the lost colony of Roanoke. In the late 16th century, over 100 settlers vanished from the Roanoke Island in present-day North Carolina. Despite numerous investigations, their fate remains a mystery. Then there's the question of the Olmec civilization from ancient Mesoamerica, who carved colossal stone heads, some weighing up to 20 tons. How did they transport these enormous stones without the aid of wheels or beasts of burden? Let's not forget the Nazca lines in Peru, gigantic geoglyphs etched into the desert floor, visible only from the air. What was their purpose and how were they made with such precision by a civilization that never mastered flight? And then there's the mystery of the Mayan civilization's sudden collapse. Despite their notable advancements in astronomy, mathematics, and architecture, this civilization abruptly dwindled. What could have led to their downfall? These historical puzzles add a layer of intrigue to the history of American countries. They remind us that history is not just a timeline of events, but a treasure trove of mysteries waiting to be unearthed. The clues are out there, waiting for the curious minds to piece them together. We've explored many intriguing aspects of American countries' history. From the fascinating tapestry of pre-Columbian civilizations, the impactful era of European exploration, to the defining moments of colonial America, we've woven a narrative thread that connects past to present and cultures across continents. We've delved into the profound histories and rich cultures of indigenous peoples, while also not shying away from the darker chapters of slavery and its abolition. Manifest destiny, a concept that shaped America's westward expansion, was also a pivotal point in our journey, shedding light on territorial acquisition and native displacement. Our journey also took us through pivotal moments in history such as the Cuban Revolution, a turning point in US-Cuba relations and a key event in the Cold War era. We've also unveiled some of the most intriguing historical puzzles and contemporary challenges faced by American countries today, sparking curiosity and encouraging further exploration. In understanding the history of American countries, we're not just uncovering the past, but also gaining insights into the present and future. It's a testament to the resilience, diversity, and ever-evolving nature of these nations and their peoples. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey. Stay curious, keep exploring, and remember to subscribe for more engaging content.